Netflix has just bought Warner Brothers for a staggering $72 billion. And here are my top 10 reasons why I think this is a terrible idea for consumers and for the industry as a whole. So, without further ado, here we go. Number 10, Netflix works with algorithm driven decisions. So, if they want to make a show, they don't really go for the creative output first. They decide which show can catch on the easiest. Warner Brothers uses the opposite strategy, which is they give creators the freedom to do what they want. A prime example of that is James Gunn and Peter Safran. They have the creative freedom to do whatever they choose with their new DC universe. But at Netflix, everything is controlled, everything follows the algorithm, and I think that is bad for creators, that is bad for business overall, and I don't like it. I don't like this approach to filmmaking. I think that Netflix is the wrong house for all of Warner Brothers content. Number 9 is the industry will miss Warner Brothers as a company. I really love Warner Brothers. They made some really great films overall in all of the years that they've worked in the industry, and I will miss them personally. I think that they are just great company. I visited the studio in LA when I went there, and I was really thrilled with what I saw and how we were treated as guests. I think that the industry will miss Warner Brothers as a studio overall, and I don't imagine like not having any Warner Brothers studio logo at the beginning of every film. We go see like the Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. It's gonna be strange not having the studio logo there, and I will miss the many diverse voices that we get from having multiple studios in charge. Now it feels like Netflix will be in charge of almost everything, and there'll be fewer studios that can pump out great stuff. I think that we are losing a voice in the filmmaking world, and not having Warner Brothers there anymore, I think is just a very unfortunate thing. I am really not sure about Netflix owning Lord of the Rings at this point. I think that it is a terrible idea, and I know that it is a lot more personal, and I am protective of this brand because Lord of the Rings is my favorite everything. It's my favorite story, so I just don't want them to tarnish this world, and I am afraid that that's what they're going to do. Kind of like what Amazon did with Rings of Power. Amazon just did whatever they wanted with Rings of Power, and what we got was just garbage. It's not good. Rings of Power is a terrible series, and I am afraid that if they make more Lord of the Rings stuff, that it's gonna be the same quality as Rings of Power. I know I should like maybe I don't know. I should give my benefit of the doubt to Netflix and hope for the best, but I am really scared that they are gonna destroy the Lord of the Rings, and that is one of the biggest reasons why I think this merger is just a very bad idea. I trust Warner Brothers a lot more with this franchise, and I am really kind of scared right now. Number 7. Some directors dislike the streaming first approach. A lot of directors like Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve used to work with Warner Brothers, but they left the studio because the studio decided to change the release theatrical experience during COVID. A lot of directors were angry about that. And I understand because when you're making a film, you want your film to be in movie theaters and not directly at home. And so filmmakers like Denis Villeneuve and Christopher Nolan were upset about that, and I understand their point of views. But if Netflix takes over, the directors are not gonna have that option anymore. They're not gonna make movies for the theatrical experience, and so I think that will be a big loss for cinema as a whole, and movie theaters will suffer because of it, and I think that is just a horrible aspect of this buy. I don't like it. Number six is the streamer prioritizes streaming over theatrical. We know that Netflix gains revenue from subscriptions and subscribers, and they don't care about the theatrical experience. So I don't understand why this deal was approved in the first place, because it's like apples and oranges. These studios, they are very different from one another, and I feel like Netflix, they don't care about cinemas. We've seen that recently with Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man, which premiered in select theaters. So it was a very limited release, and I don't understand. Netflix will not give big releases like a Lord of the Rings film or a Harry Potter film if there are more Harry Potter movies. They're not gonna give them big theatrical releases, which I think is just a bad business model. It won't work. It just won't work because Netflix is against movie theaters, and that's gonna kill movie theater chain. Number five is pressure to justify a massive purchase. When you buy something for $72 billion, I think that you expect to make a return on that. And I don't even know if Netflix has the money to buy Warner Brothers at this point, because that is a lot of cash. I think that Netflix will just make as much content as they can to recover that loss. And I think our favorite franchises will suffer because of it. Unfortunately, I think that if they decide to make more content just to get their money back, we are in for some mediocre content, I can assure you. This is a very bad thing for the industry as a whole, in my opinion. Number four is Netflix is known to cancel shows that have potential, but they just axe them. We've seen it over and over again. They constantly cancel shows like when they're at the beginning of their life cycle in the first or second season. There's a bunch of them like the OA, Mindhunter, Santa Clarita Diet, Sense 8, Shadow and Bone, Glow, and Fate, The Wing Saga, Extracurricular. And what is going on with Kingdom? I don't even know if that show is canceled. It's one of my favorite Netflix shows, and we don't seem to have a third season yet. And my point is this: we are gonna get a lot more canceled Netflix shows, because that's their whole strategy. If a show doesn't take off, they cancel it. If a show doesn't make revenue, they cancel it. And I think that it is just a terrible business model, because you're not really caring about the consumers that are watching your product. Fast and easy, and I think that is just a terrible business model overall, and that's why I am starting to wonder if it's even worth it having a Netflix subscription. Number three, the price of the streaming service will increase drastically. Be prepared, because I don't think that they will keep the prices the way they are when they just made a $72 billion deal. It just won't happen, guys. They are gonna increase the prices, and I am currently paying $35 a month for my Netflix subscription, and I am expecting for it to increase drastically, maybe every year. I think that it's probably going to be like $40, $45 for Netflix. And I am scared about that. I don't know that it will be worth it at the end. It's a lot of money, like for a subscription service. I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know what it's actually going to cost, but let's say it's just going to be $45 a month in like 5 years. That's a lot, and I don't think that it's worth it in the long run, unfortunately. Number two is quality over quantity. This is a streamer that has a lot of crap coming out every day, and it's a lot of stuff that I don't really want to watch. They're just cranking out content for the sake of content, hoping that something will catch on. Kind of like Squid Game did out of nowhere. It really blew up, and that's what they're hoping for when they're just releasing many rom-coms, many comedies, and a lot of them are terrible. A lot of them I don't really feel like watching, because I know that they're going to be terrible. I just see the trailers, and I know that I am not the target audience for these kinds of films. And so I have a fear that that's what we're gonna get if we're gonna get like a Batman series, kind of like the Penguin did with HBO Max. Here, it's not gonna be about quality. It's gonna be about like how can we make this as low budget as possible and cut corners as much as possible. It's not going to be about like the quality first, and I am terrified of this. I don't like it at all. I think that Netflix has made so many bad stuff over the years. They made some good stuff, like don't get me wrong, they've made some good TV shows and some good movies, but I think they made more bad than good since the streamer has taken off, and I am really afraid of my favorite franchises like Lord of the Rings, DC, and Harry Potter, and Dune, even. Um, yeah, it's just a really sad day for the industry, in my opinion. My number one point is this: this is too much power for one company. Netflix has too much content right now, and it's gonna destroy, I think, a lot of our favorite franchises. They have too much control over what gets made and how content is distributed and what audience have access to. And I think that is a major problem we are going to face in the upcoming years if this deal is not blocked. Um, yeah, we won't get as many series as we'd like of Batman or of Harry Potter. They're still making the Harry Potter series, but like, is that really a sure thing at this point with Netflix? What if this first season doesn't do well? So there you have it. Those are my top 10 reasons why I think Netflix buying Warner Brothers is a terrible idea. Let me know what you think about the sell down comments below. Please like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.